Good day to you. This is teacher Leland Alejandro, and we're going to discuss modeling with quadratic equations. We will be dealing with real life situations and using quadratic equations. So we'll be looking at the problem set in the other screen. So let's check on the questions. Okay, let's see the total first. Okay, here's the problem set consisting of about 12 problems. Okay, we have here 12 worded problems. All right, so we're going to do it by the presentation view on one problem at a time. All right, let's check the first number. So we have here the first problem. A baseball pitcher throws a ball to a catcher behind home plate. The ball is 4 feet above the ground when it leaves the pitcher's hand at a velocity of 65 feet per second. If the ball's acceleration is negative 16 feet per second squared, what quadratic equation models the situation correctly? All right, from the given, we have the ball is 4 feet above the ground. Now, in problems like this involving displacement or height, okay, and involving velocity, this is considered a motion problem. Now, we shall see the format for this type of problem, which is actually this format. Height is equal to acceleration of gravity times time squared plus velocity times time plus the initial height of the object. Okay, now the A is for the acceleration, so that will be reduced to negative 16. The V is the velocity of the ball, and that will be 65 feet per second. The initial height of the ball is actually 4 feet above the ground. So we have the data there, and we can now use those data over here. So this is negative 16 feet per second squared, and this is t squared plus the velocity 65 feet per second, so this will be 65, and the initial height of the ball is 4 feet there. So the question is, what quadratic equation models the situation correctly? Okay, so this is our working equation. H is a function of time. Okay, so you may write this h of t, okay, like that. H of t stands for time, okay, and this is 16 t squared plus the initial velocity of 65 feet per second times time plus 4 feet there. Okay, so this must be the quadratic equation, the required quadratic equation there, and you'll be able to check the answer over there. Okay, so that goes to our first number. Let's continue with the next. Let me clear the screen and continue with the next question. Here's the second. George is using quadratic equation W times the quantity W plus 22 equals 75, where W represents the width of a picture frame. What statement about the solutions width equals 3 and width equals negative 25 is true? Okay, what statement about the solutions? Okay, first we can check the solutions if they are the right solutions. Okay, so we can make use of the given, okay, the given equation. All right, the given equation there is W times W plus 22 equals 75 there. All right, according to the problem, W equals 3. is a root of this equation. Okay, it's a solution. So we can substitute and check when W is 3, then we can substitute 3 there. Equals 75 there. Okay, equals 75. And so we can verify, okay, the left and the right side and see if it's correct. The inside of the parentheses or the grouping symbol, we will have that like 25. And then we still have to multiply it by 3. And looks like the left side of the equation is the same as the right side. This is 3 times 25 equals 75. Yeah. And so W equals 3. W equals 3 is correct. Okay. That's correct. All right. How about when W equals negative 25? Okay, let's do a check. From the same equation, W times the quantity W plus 22 equals 75. Okay, we're going to use now the value negative 25 in place of W, like this. So let us substitute negative 25. And we're going to have the left side check if it's equal to the right side. So the inside of the grouping symbol, that's negative 25 and a 22. So that will result to a difference of negative 3. And this is multiplied by a negative 25. Negative times a negative is another positive. And so this is 75 positive, which equates to the right side 75. So it is also correct, okay, at W equals 25. It's also correct. The question is, what statement about the solutions W equals 3 and W negative 25 is true? Okay, we can accept the width of 3 because it's a positive length, okay? It's a positive unit computed value, okay? Whereas the negative 25, it's a negative distance. So we're not going to consider that. So the statement is W equals 3 must be accepted and negative 25 must be rejected, okay? Because there's no negative, we will not consider negative length of a picture frame, okay? So that should be the statement. W equals 3 is accepted and W equals negative 25 must be rejected, okay? That should be the required statement, okay? If you are to choose a statement, that should be the statement. The positive 3 is accepted, the negative 25 should not be included, okay? All right, so the computer has the answer, so we can check that, all right, there. Solution W equals 3 should be accepted. And then width equals negative 25 is rejected. We can erase this part of the line there. Okay, you can see the entire statement there. The solution W equals 3 should be accepted and W equals negative 25 must be rejected. Okay, that goes to the second question. All right, let's continue to the next. All right, so just remember, if you're you are computing something about a physical object that contains some dimension, okay, the computed value must be positive. If ever you encounter a negative number as your answer, that should not be, that should be rejected, okay? That should be rejected, all right? Only the positive must be accepted, okay? It's a physical quantity, okay? Say a size of a picture frame. The dimensions there must be positive values, okay? All right, so that goes to our second number. Let's continue with the next. Let's have the third. Okay, here's the third. A soccer goalie kicks the ball to the center of the soccer field. The height of the ball at time t is modeled by the equation h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 8t times t plus 2. Rounded to the nearest thousandth, the solutions to the equation when ht equals 0 fit are negative 0.025 seconds and 5.025 seconds. So these are the solutions for the quadratic equation, okay? Which solution can be eliminated and why? Okay, again, we're going to consider the equation here, which is given as ht, this is negative 16 t squared plus 80t plus 2, okay? And then the solutions of this, okay, when ht is set to 0, it becomes a quadratic equation, and this is parabolic, okay? This is parabolic, okay? And to explain this one has a negative there. There's a negative. That means your parabolic equation is something that opens downward like that. And this is your t, okay? This will have to be your t, and this is your h there, okay? And this is the origin, the point of origin. The value of t and h there are 0, 0 there. Now the solution's time, okay, one is negative, that's negative 0.025 is this point here, there. That's negative 0.025 seconds, okay? Remember, we're talking about time here. The other one is somewhere here, okay? And this is the 5.025 seconds there, okay? All right. Now, which solution can be eliminated and why? Of course, if you look at the negative 0.025 seconds, that's a negative value for time, okay? And we're going to reject that, okay? So you have to reject the negative 0.025. Now the 5.025 seconds, that's the accepted solution, okay? All right, so that's the interpretation of the solution of this, okay? So which solution can be eliminated? Of course, we eliminate the negative, okay? That's eliminated, okay? Eliminate. So remember, if you have a negative solution and it's something about time, that's supposed to be not used, okay? The positive will be the ones accepted, all right? So we can verify that, okay? And we can see that over here. All right, let's adjust our drawing. Let me adjust my drawing, okay? So that we can see it. Let me just put it over there. That's the parabola, and let me remove this. Let me put it somewhere lower, okay, there. And then the H, let me just place it somewhere lower, there. Okay, so we can now try displaying the answer there. Okay, we can see the statement there. From the computer's database answer, the negative 0.025 seconds must be eliminated because time cannot be a negative value, okay? Exactly what we discussed a while ago, okay? All right, so just remember the negative time is not the answer. It must be the positive, okay? All right, let's continue with the fourth question. Let me clear the screen. Okay, here's number 4. Okay, John and Paul each threw pebbles into the air. Okay, the height of John's pebble is modeled by the equation. All right, let's write the equation of John's pebble. Okay, h is equal to negative 16t squared plus 70t plus 3. Okay, you know very well the negative 16 is the acceleration. All right, the 70 is the initial velocity, and the 3 is the position of the object, the pebble. Okay, so the continuation is Paul threw his pebble from the same elevation. That means the same uh, 3. Okay, remember, this is the acceleration of gravity. This is the initial velocity, and the initial position is the 3. Okay, all right. Now, Paul threw his pebble from the same elevation, but with an initial velocity triple that of John's. Now, this is John's. Okay, that's the equation for John's pebble. Okay, all right. Now, for Paul, it's triple that of John's velocity. Okay, so what equation must be, or what equation best models the height of Paul's pebble? So if we are to make the equation for Paul, which is actually the same format, A for acceleration of gravity, and then here is the initial velocity, and here is the initial height. All right, we still follow this equation. For Paul, we will have the same acceleration, but the velocity is triple. Okay, it says there velocity triple that of John's, so that means 70 times 3. Okay, and that will be 210. All right, so this will be now plus 210 times time plus, well, the same elevation, the same location. Okay, so this will be for Paul there, and this must be the required equation for Paul. Okay, what equation best models the height of Paul's pebble? Okay, all right, so this must be the answer there. Okay, it's over here there. H is equal to negative 16t squared plus 210 times time plus the initial elevation of 3. Okay, all right, so that's it. That's the answer for number 4. Okay, let's continue with number 5. I hope this one's clear. All right, so this will now be cleared, and then we proceed to number 5. Okay, here's number 5. The Harrison family wants to remodel their rectangular terrace, which currently measures 25 feet by 15 feet. They want to extend the length and width by the same amount x to increase the total area of the terrace by 116 square feet. So the additional area in square feet is 116. So what quadratic equation best models the situation? Okay, we can figure this out by starting with the initial size. Okay, initial size. So if, let's say, for example, let us use something straight. Say, for example, this is the original terrace. Okay, like this. Okay, say, for example, this is our terrace. Okay. All right. And then we're going to increase this with the same size, okay? The same size like that. And then this will now be like this. There, okay? Now, according to the statement here, This is originally 25 by 15. There, okay? Now, the area of that is 25 by 15. 25 times 15. That's the area, okay? Now, they want to extend the length and width by the same amount, x. So this will be x. And this is also x. There, okay? Now, this length is x plus 25. There, up to this. There, like that, okay? All right, and then this part here, this is x plus 15. Yes, x plus 15, there, okay? Now, this additional area, the additional area is 116. This area here, okay? That will be 116, okay? So let me just clear those, all right, okay? So we can set up the equation. This will now be x plus 25, okay, multiplied by x plus 15, okay? This will be equal to the area 25 times 15, and then adding the 116, like that, okay? Because this is the original area. There, that's the original area. There. Now the 116 is added to the product of 25 times 15. So we have that at the right side. 25 times 15, that's the original area, plus the added 116. Now that equates to x plus the 25, okay? It's x plus 25, there. And then multiply that by 15 plus x, okay? All right, so that explains everything there, okay? Let me just do it clearly there, okay? So this is our working equation. This is our working equation. This must be the required answer, okay? All right, we can check and verify. There, you can see the computer's answer over here. So this is how to explain and state the required quadratic equation. This will become a quadratic equation because when you expand this, you are going to have x squared here. You will be having a x squared. So this is the required equation for the problem. All right, let's continue with number 6. I hope this one is clear, okay? Just look at the drawing and you'll be able to analyze correctly, okay? All right, let's continue with the next, number 6. All right, let's have number 6. All right, here's number 6. A projectile is fired straight up from the ground, okay, with an initial velocity of 208 feet per second. If acceleration due to gravity is negative 16 feet per second squared, after about how many seconds will the object reach a height of 555? Okay, all right. Now, this is the same equation that we're going to use. H is equal to acceleration times t squared plus initial velocity plus initial height. There, okay? H of 0 is initial height. Now, the numbers a, v, and h of 0 are there, okay? A projectile is fired straight up from the ground with an initial velocity of 208. So that will be for the letter V. So we have 208 times t, okay? Now, straight up from the ground. That means the initial position is ground zero. That will be 0 feet. Okay, so this is plus 0 feet. Okay, all right. Our reference is the ground. Now, the A is the negative 16. So this will be negative 16 t squared there. And this is our working equation. All right, the question is, uh, after about how many seconds will the object reach a height of 555 feet? Okay, that will be our h. Okay, this will be our h. So we have 555 is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 208 t there. And here's our working equation there. All right, and we only need to find the time. Okay, about how many seconds will the object reach a height of 555 feet. All right, so we're asked to get t, and that's the only unknown in the equation. All right, so we can actually make use of uh, completing the square. Okay, completing the square. So we can rearrange this equation. We can transpose the two terms to the left so that it will look like this. 16 becomes positive, and then the 280 becomes negative, and we continue with the plus 55 5 equals 0 there. Okay, all right, so this happens when you move the negative 16t squared to the left. Okay, it becomes positive, and moving the 208t to the left, that will make it negative. Okay, now the 555 will still remain positive because it did not move. Okay, it's still there on the left. Okay, so when you move the negative 16 t squared and 280 to the left side, the right side will become empty, and that's why it's 0 there. So here's our equation. We're going to solve this by completing the square. So we already know how to do completing the square. Okay, so we shall begin with uh, factoring the 16. Okay, and we will have t squared, and then you can factor out the 16 from 208, and you will still have 13. Okay, like that, because 208 is divisible by 16. Okay, if you divide this by 16, you will have 1 and then 16, difference of 4, bring down the 8. Okay, bring down the 8, and then 48 divided by 16, that's 3. So 3 times 16 is 48, and we have a remainder 0. That means the product of 13 and 16 is 208. That means 16 is a factor of 208, and we can factor that out. Okay, and so what remains inside the parentheses will be the 13. Okay, and so we're trying to continue here. Okay, there. All right. So this is 16, and then you have to factor the 16 out. This will now be the first two terms here. Okay, the first two terms will appear this way, and we shall be providing a space after that. We shall provide a space, and then followed by the plus 555 equals 0 there. Okay, all right. And so the space will be for what we will be adding and subtracting, if you still remember the procedure for completing the square. Now, what we're going to add there will be 169 over 4. Okay, 169 over 4. Okay, and that came from something like 13, the middle number beside the first degree, divided by 2, and then the result is to be squared. Remember, that's the way to do completing the square. And this will be 169 over 4 there. Okay, so we're going to add here now 169 over 4. Also, we're going to subtract. Okay, we cannot just add and do not subtract. We will be changing the equation. So if we add, we subtract. Okay, all right, so that's it. And then this is now a perfect square trinomial. This is now a perfect square trinomial. This three terms here can now be changed or transformed to t minus 13 over 2 squared. Okay, like that. And the 16 is still there. And this is now something like this. And you have that negative 169 over 4 there. And close parentheses plus 555 equals 0 there. Okay, now it's time to return the 16 back. Okay, so we will have here 16 times t minus 13 over 2 squared minus 16 times 169 over 4. So we have 16 times 169 over 4, like that. And then plus 555 equals 0. All right, so 16 over 4, that divides with the 4. And the result is 4 times 169. Okay, let's multiply that. And let's use the portion over here. All right, let's have 16 over 4, that's 4 times 169. So we have 169 times 4. All right, this will be 36, 27, and that will be 676. Okay, so this is now negative 676 plus 555 there equals to 0. And we still have the 16 times t minus 13 over 2 squared there. All right, let's continue. Let's remove that writings there. All right, let's continue over here. Okay, we're going to have the difference of 676 and 555. 676 and 555, that will be 1, 2, and we have 121. 121. So for a while, that will be negative. Okay, so we will continue here. 16 times t minus 13 over 2 squared. And we have here negative 121 equals 0 there. Okay, now if we add 121 to both sides, your equation becomes 16 times t minus 13 over 2 squared. If you add 121 to both sides, the right side will have 121 there. Okay, we shall now divide by 16. Okay, you divide here by 16 and divide this by 16. Okay, and we will have t minus 13 over 2 squared, and this will be equal to 121 over 16. And then we will be applying square roots to both sides. Okay, let's clear the right side first for some space. Okay, we're going to apply now the square root to both sides. So square root here and a square root here, plus or minus there. Okay, plus or minus. So this will now be, okay, to be continued over here. The right side will now be square root of 121 over 16. That will be the square root of 121, which is 11, and the square root of 16, which is 4. And this will remain plus or minus. The left side will now be just t minus 13 over 2. Okay. Now we add 13 over 2 to both sides. Okay. And that is the same as if you make the 13 over 2 like with the denominator of 4, you will have to multiply the numerator and denominator. 13 over 2 is the same as 26 over 4. Okay. 26 over 4. So if we add 13 over 2 to both sides, the appearance will be like this. T is equal to 13 over 2 plus or minus 11 over 4. There. And if you increase the fraction, because 13 over 2 is its lowest term, okay, you can actually make that 26 over 4 so that we will have a common denominator, okay, a common denominator. So we can change this 13 over 2 by 26 over 4, okay. For simplicity, this is now 26 over 4. And we can now have the first time one, okay, which is 26 plus 11. That will be 37 over 4. And the other time will be when you subtract, okay? 26 over 4 minus 11 over 4. That should be about 15 over 4, like that. And so we have the time already, and we have two answers. All right, the first one is 37 over 4. That will be about 36 over 4 plus 1 over 4. And that makes 9.25. And this will be 9.25 seconds. Now, the T2, okay, the T2 is 15 over 4. And that can be the same as 12 over 4 plus 3 over 4, okay? All right, 12 over 4 plus 3 over 4. That's the same as 15 over 4, and that will be 3.75. And these are both seconds, okay? These are both seconds there. And this is also seconds there. So we have two answers. This is one of the answers, and this is the other one, 9.25. All right, how come there are two? Okay, remember when you throw up a projectile, it goes up and then it reaches its maximum and then it goes down, okay? So it will be twice located at 555 feet. Once going up, okay, it will be at 555 feet, and then it goes up to the maximum, and then it goes down back to the position of 555, okay? So the 3.75 is when it goes up, okay? That will be 3.75, the smaller value of time, and then it will reach its maximum, and then it starts going down, okay? And that will be the additional time, and that will be the 9.25 seconds. So it goes up 3.75, and then it goes up and then accumulates more time, and then at exactly 9.25, it's back at the level 555. That should be the explanation. All right. So the required answer here is just the smaller, because that will be the first, the time that it will reach the height of 555. Okay, so let us see the answer. There, it's over here. It's 3.75 seconds. Okay, and I hope you'll be able to follow the way to do it. Okay, if you cannot solve it by completing the square, you can use the quadratic formula. Okay, you can use the quadratic formula, and that will be a lot easier. Okay, all right, and so that will be for our number 6, and we shall continue with the next number 7. Let's have the next one. Here's number 7. Let's read the problem first. The total area of two square tables is 3060 square inches. That's area, square units, okay, square inches. Each side of the larger table is 6 inches longer than the sides of the smaller, okay, smaller table. How long are the sides of the smaller, okay? All right, so we shall describe the problem starting with the size of the smaller table. So if we're going to draw the tables, we shall try to just draw a smaller one, okay? All right, just draw a smaller square table, and then we will have to draw a bigger table beside it, like that. Okay, assume these are squares, square tables. All right, does it look like a square? There you are. All right, so let the smaller with a dimension of x by x, there, x by x. And then the larger, all right, according to the statement, each side of the larger table is 6 inches longer, okay? So we can denote each side here like x plus 6, and then x plus 6, all right, x plus 6, there, okay? And this is also x plus 6, like that. All right, so the total of the area is 3060. So we can get the area of each table. That will be x times x for the smaller. Okay, so let's put at the left side the working equation, x times x. So that's x squared, okay? X squared. And now this will be added to the bigger table. That will be x plus 6, also squared, okay? Like that. X plus 6 squared, okay? X plus 6 times x plus 6. All right, that will be representing the area of the smaller and the larger. Now the total of the area is 3060. This equates to 3060, and this will be in square inches. All right, here's our working equation. The question is, how long are the sides of the smaller table? So we're looking for x here, okay? We're looking for the x, the smaller table. All right, so here's our working equation at the left side. So we shall simplify the equation and find x. So to continue, this will be x squared. This will now be x plus 6 times x plus 6, okay? Like that. And this is equal to 3060. All right, so this will now be x squared. This will be x squared, and this will now be plus 12x. Okay, 6x and the 6x, that will be 12x. That goes to the middle term, and we still have the 6 times 6, which is 36 there. And this equates to 3060 there. Okay, so we shall simplify the x squared and the x squared, which gives us 2x squared, x squared plus x squared, and we still have the 12x, and we have the plus 36, and we shall subtract 360 from both sides, okay? So we will continue now with minus 3060, minus 3060, and if we subtract 3060 from right, we will have a 0 there, okay? And so we shall now get the difference between 3060 and the 36, okay? This is 36, all right. We shall just get the difference. This is 4, and this is, how much is that? 5 minus 3, 2. We have 3024. So this will now be negative, okay? So this continues like 2x squared plus 12x. now a negative 3024, and is equal to 0. We can now make our numbers smaller by dividing each by 2. Okay, divide each by 2, the left side and the right side. Okay, if we do this, the 2x squared becomes just x squared. And 12x over 2 is now 6x. And 3024, when divided by 2, that becomes 1512. 1512 equals 0. Okay, we can now solve the equation. All right, we shall try doing it by completing the square again. Okay, so we shall try it over here. This continues over here. So we shall do the completing the square. We have x squared, then this is plus 6x. Okay, number to be added and subtracted. That will be 6 divided by 2 and then square. Okay, so that gives us 3 squared, which is 9. All right, our number is 9. We're going to add 9 here and subtract 9, like that. And we still have the minus 1512. So we still have the minus 1512 equals 0 there. All right, this is now a perfect square trinomial. That's a perfect square trinomial, which is equivalent to x plus 3. X plus 3 squared. And this is now minus, how much is that? 1512 plus 9. Okay, let's do it here. All right, that will be combined. The 9 and the 1512 will now be added. They are both negatives. So this will now be 11, carry 1, that will be 21, and we have 1521, okay? So that's minus 1521 equals 0. All right, how about that? It's going simpler. We're going to add 1521 to both sides. Add 1521 and add 1521 to the 0. This will turn out x plus 3 squared equals 1521 there. And then we're going to get the square root, extract the square root of both sides. So the square root of this and then the square root of the 1521, this will now be plus or minus. Okay, next line is just x plus 3, no more squared and square root. That will just be x plus 3. Now, what is the square root of 1521? All right, let's get the square root. I believe that's exact. Okay, so how do you get the square root of 1521? Okay, the first 2 digits is 15. So we cannot have 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So this must be about 3. 3 times 3, that's 9. And the difference between 15 and 9 is 6. We bring down the 21, the 2 digits. And then we think of a number to be added and multiplied to the product of the first digit and the 20. So 20, our first digit is 3, okay? All right. Anyway, you can do this with a calculator if you have it. Now, this is the manual. The 3, the first answer, first digit will be multiplied by the 20. And we're going to have 60. All right. You think of the next digit answer here, okay? The next digit answer, because you're after this is your first, you need to think of the second. All right. The product of the first answer 3 and the 20 is 60. Think of a number now that will be added and multiplied to the 60. All right. I will try the 9, okay? So if you add 9 that's 69, and then times 9, that will be 81, and carry 8 to the 6. So that's 54 plus 8. 54 plus 8, that's 62. There, exactly what you need there. Okay, so the next digit here is exactly 9. There, and this will be 621, giving you a 0 remainder. Okay, a 0 remainder. So the square root of 1521 is exactly 39. There, and this will be plus or minus. There. Is there a way you can check? Can you check why it's 39? You multiply 39 and 39. Okay, all right, let's verify that. Okay, let me clear my solution. Let me clear my solution there. All right, how about 39 times 39? There's always a way to check it. Okay, just get the product. 81 and 8, that's 27. That will be plus 8, that's 35. And then you have the next multiplier is 3. That will be 27, carry 2, that's 11. And this will be 1, 12, carry 1, that's a 5, bring down 1. There. So 39 times 39 is exactly 1,521. That means 39 is correct. All right. Now we can get the answer now. All right. We can now remove the checking. All right. Because we need a space to write on. All right. Let's continue with the x. Okay, x plus 3 equals 3 equals 39, all right, plus or minus. We shall subtract 3 here and subtract 3 there. So that x is equal to plus or minus 39 minus 3. All right, we can now get our first value, x1. x1 is the positive 39 minus 3. x1 gives 36. There. And then x2, we can use the negative 39 minus 3, which gives us a negative 42. All right. So we shall not accept the negative 42. We're talking about a table here. Okay. So we will not consider a negative length. So our answer is 36 inches. Okay. All right. This will be in inches. Okay. This will be in inches. So 36 inches there. Okay. That's the answer. All right. And we can verify that over here. All right. There. From the computer's database, you have 36 inches. That's the size of the smaller table. Okay. That's 36 by 36. So what's the size of the larger table? What's the size of that? That is the positive 42, okay? That's the positive 42 because that's x plus 6. That means from the size of the smaller, 36 plus 6, that will be 42, okay? And we're not looking for the larger table. We're looking for the smaller. That's the question. Always check the required. How long, okay? How long are the sides of the smaller, okay? So we're done. We were able to get the smaller 36. All right, so that goes to our number 7. Let's continue with number 8. Let me clear the screen. All right, let's continue with number 8. Okay, here's number 8. It's motion problem again. Okay, motion problem again. So this is not a table. Our equation here will be back to h a t squared plus vt plus h of 0. There. All right. A projectile is launched into the air from ground level. All right. That means h of 0 is actually at the ground. There. Initial velocity is 352 feet per second. That will be our v. That will be 352. All right. What else? If acceleration due to gravity is negative 16 feet per second squared, That will be our A. So that's a negative 16. And we will have our equation. Okay, we will have our equation, and this will be our equation. H, all right, H is equal to negative 16t squared plus 352t plus 0. Okay, okay, plus 0. H of 0 is 0. So our working equation is negative 16t squared plus 352t equals H. Okay, what is the maximum height reached by the projectile? What is the maximum height? Okay, the maximum height, remember, if you throw an object upward, that will form a parabolic trajectory, okay? It will have a parabolic trajectory like that, okay? And we're looking at the maximum height. We're looking at the maximum, okay? So this is H max, okay? Like that, okay? So if we reach the top, this is actually the vertex, okay? That's the vertex there. The vertex of the parabola, okay? So all we need to do is set up the vertex form, okay? We shall make use of the vertex form, okay? So we can do that by completing the square, okay? And we'll be able to get the vertex form of the equation, okay? Vertex form. So we shall get the vertex form. The vertex form of the equation. All right, let's clear my drawing and let's determine the vertex form by completing the square, okay? So we will be doing the completing the square method. Okay, this equation is really like this. H is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 352 t. Okay, so we don't have to add the 0. Okay, all right, let's see if 352 is divisible by 16. So we can factor out the negative 16. So we shall divide 352 by 16. That looks like 2. 2 times 16 is 32. A difference of 3. Bring down to 32 by 16, exactly 2. 2 times 16 is 32. Remainder 0. All right, so 16 happens to be a factor of 352. So we can write this like H is equal to negative 16. We put this out, and we have now a grouping symbol. We have t squared inside, and this will be a minus 22, okay? Minus 22. Why 22? Because the product of negative 16 and negative 22 returns back to positive 352, okay? Based on this, okay? The 22 times 16 must be 352. So we can set that a negative because our number outside is a negative, okay? All right, so when you put it back, it's a positive 352. Now we still have the letter T here, there. Now we'll be needing the number to be added and subtracted, okay? And what is that number? It's 22 divided by 2, and then we square it, okay? All right, that happens to be 11 squared. 11 squared, which is 121. Okay, so we're going to add here 121 and subtract 121. There. Okay, all right. So that this trinomial here, a trinomial, a polynomial with 3 terms, is now a perfect square trinomial, which can be written, we can write this like t minus 11, all right, squared, like that. Now, the negative 16 will be multiplied by the negative 121. Remember, we still have a parenthesis here, like that, and the negative 16 will be multiplied back, all right, and times the negative 121, like that. Okay. And we can now, we distributed the 16, okay? We can omit that larger parenthesis there, okay? All right. So that will be the negative 16 multiplied by the binomial squared, and then the negative 16 will be multiplied by the negative 121. And so after multiplying the 16 and 121, that will be a positive value, okay? And so we shall multiply that. So let's do it over here. 16 times 121, that will be 672. Okay. Yes, and then this is 121. This is now 6391. Okay, 1936. So this will be H is equal to negative 16 T minus 11 squared plus 1936. There. Okay, now this is the vertex form. Okay, and in the vertex form, you now have the vertex HK. All right, where the H here is the time, and that will be 11. And the K, that's the K. All right, that's for the height. Okay, which is 1936. Okay, that is the maximum. This is the maximum there, maximum height. Okay, so the answer here is 1936 feet. So this will be 1936 feet. Okay, that's the answer. After getting the vertex form, it's the tip. Okay, remember, it's the maximum height. All right, let's verify. Here's the answer over here. There. What is the maximum height reached by the projectile? You only need to do the vertex form. Okay, you can do that by completing the square. So that's the answer, 1936. All right. So this portion here is part of the solution. Okay, so we can put there a fence. All right. And the answer can be found when you reach the vertex form. Okay. That's the tip of the parabola. Okay. All right. Let's have the next number 9. Let's have number 9. Here is number 9. A fisherman is expanding the length and the width of his rectangular fish pond by the same amount. The fish pond currently measures 60 feet by 40 feet, and the expansion will increase its area by 981 square feet. This is comparable to the terrace, okay, of the Harrison family, the previous number, okay. So there's a fixed original size, and then you're going to increase it by the same variable, okay? All right, the same amount, all right. So originally the fish pond is 60 by 40. After expansion, it will increase its area by 981. That is the additional area. By how many feet should the length of the fish pond be increased? All right, let's draw first our diagram, okay? Let's draw our diagram first. Let's make a small diagram here. So for example, we have like this, and then this is to be increased and to be increased here, such that this will now become like that. So comparable to the terrace a while ago. All right, so we have here the dimension. This is 60. This is 60 by 40. All right, and you increase actually the length and the width, okay? Expanding the length and the width of his rectangular fish pond by the same amount. That means if you elongate the length here by x, you will also elongate the 40 by x there, okay, such that this length here is 40 plus x, or x plus 40 there, like that. Also, the length will be x plus 60 there. It's like that, okay? So this is the diagram. Now, the area originally is 60 times 40, okay? That's the area here. 60 times 40 there. The area here now, the added is 981, okay? That's 981. So our working equation will be, let's do it at the left side. It will now be x plus 60, the desired length, okay? The desired length is x plus 60 to be multiplied by the desired width, that's x plus 40. This will be the new dimensions, all right? And this must be equal to the old area. This is equal to the old area, that's 60 times 40, added to the additional area. There. This is our working equation. So all you need to do is find the x here, okay? By how many feet should the length of the fish pan be increased? That's the x, okay? The additional length for both length and width, okay? All right, so we will just simplify this equation and come up with x squared, okay? Because we have here x times x here, there. So that will be x squared. And we have 60 times 60 times x and 40 times x. So first we have x squared and then 40x. And then we will now be multiplying it by the 60. That will be 60x. And then now it's the number times the number, 60 times 40. 60 times 40, which is equal to the right side, 60 times 40 plus 981. There. Okay, so this cancels out, okay? When you subtract 640, subtract 60 times 40, subtract 60 times 40. There. And this will now be zeros. The left side will be x squared plus 100x. All right. That's 60 times 40. You subtract 60 times 40, okay, the same amount. And so this will zero out. The right side will now be just 981 there, okay? And so when we subtract 981 from both sides, subtract 981, the next line will be x squared plus 100x minus 981 equals 0 there. That happens when you subtract 981 from both sides, okay? Making the right side 0. All right, so we can solve the equation, all right? We can solve this by completing the square or by factoring, okay? By factoring. Looks like 981 is divisible by 9, okay? 981 looks like divisible by 9 because 81 and the 9, okay? If you divide this by 9, that's 1, and then it's a 0, bring down 8. 8 by 9 is 0. 0 times 9 is 0. We subtract and we get 8. Bring down 1. We have 81 divided by 9. That's exactly 9. 9 times 9, 81. Then a remainder 0. That means the product of 109 and 9 is 981. So we can solve it by factoring, okay? We can solve this by factoring. That means the factors are, we will have to write it this way. This will be x and x. We will use the 109 and the 9, okay? We have here 9 and then 109. There, okay? Since this is a minus here, it's a minus here. That means we will obtain the 100 by subtracting the factors. And that's the difference of 109 and 9. The difference is 100, okay? So we will take the 109, the higher number positive, and the lower number negative. And this is equal to 0. There. Okay, after which we will equate each factor to 0 to solve for the x. X minus 9 equals 0. And then x plus 109 equals 0. We will have one positive answer and one negative answer. Again, we will have to reject any negative answer here. We're talking about a fish pond length and width, or part of it. Okay, so therefore we will accept the 9. And this will now be in feet. Okay, so this will be in feet. All right, so x equals 9 feet. All right, that should be the answer. X equals 9 feet. This is our answer. All right, that answers by how many feet should the length of the fish pond be increased. All right, so that goes over here. Let's check the answer. There is the answer. Okay, from the computer's database, it's 9 feet. All right, so I hope you were able to get the solution. Let's continue with the next number 10. All right, here is number 10. Okay, back to motion problem. Two baseball players are throwing a baseball back and forth. The ball is 5 feet above the ground when it leaves one player's hand. So that means that's the initial position of the ball. So we will have that h of 0, and that will be 5. Okay, that's h of 0. When it leaves one player's hand with an upward velocity of 45 feet per second. So this will be our v. That will be 45. And then if acceleration due to gravity is negative 16, that will be our a. It's a negative 16. So from the format, h is equal to a t squared plus vt plus h of 0. We can now replace the a, the v, and the h of 0 by the numbers. So h is equal to negative 16t squared plus 45t plus 5. This is our working equation. There. All right. How high above the ground is the ball 1 second after it is thrown? All right. There's a given time. Okay. The given time is 1 second. All right. So direct substitution. Replace the t with 1 second. Compute the height. Okay. How high above the ground is the ball? So we're after the height. Okay. It is the required. Okay. So we will just do a substitution of 1 here. Negative 16 times 1 squared plus 45 times 1 plus 5 feet. All right. So this will be compute. Negative 16 times 1 squared will be 1. 45 times 1 is 45 plus 5. And so h is negative 16 times 1 is negative 16. 45 plus 5 is 50. That looks like 34 feet. That's 34 feet. There. Okay. All right. I hope that exactly describes the requirement. Let's check. All right. It's 34 feet over here. Okay. 34 feet. That will be for number 10. Okay. Remember these equations for motion problem. Let's continue with number 11. All right, number 11. Okay, here's number 11. The parabola equation for the main span of Golden Gate Bridge is modeled by the equation y is equal to ax minus h squared plus k. This is parabolic. This is the parabola, okay, which is quadratic, okay. So ax minus h squared plus k there, where y is the height, okay. Y is the height in meters of the parabolic cable above sea level. X is the horizontal distance in meters from the left bridge support. Okay, from the left bridge support. So if this is the parabola, okay, we have something like this. This is the post, and there's another post over there. All right, and this is the sea level. Okay, that's the sea level, and it looks like that, and another one over there. All right, so the equation described will have a reference corner here, okay, a reference corner like that, such that this is our origin. This is our origin, and this points to the x, and this is actually for the y. There, like that, okay? This is actually for the y. And our reference here is the origin. So imagine this the positive and this the positive there, okay? Like that. Positive x, here's the positive x, and here's the positive y. All right. Now, what do we have here? X is the horizontal distance in meters from left bridge support, okay? The left bridge support is this one here. This, okay? This one here is the left support, okay? All right, so let me clear my drawing. All right, so A is a constant, HK is the parabola's vertex. Okay, where's this vertex? All right, it must be this, okay? The center, there, that's the vertex, there. All right, the distance between bridge supports is 1,280 meters. So that is actually this length here. So from here, it's 1,280 meters there. What is the maximum and minimum height of the bridge measured from sea level as modeled by the equation? We have the equation over here, okay? So the equation is y is equal to 0.00037,109,375 times the quantity x minus 640 squared plus 75. This is actually in the vertex form, okay? This is actually in the vertex form. All right, this is the vertex form. So that means it shows the equation, it shows the vertex, okay? And you can see the 640, that's the h, okay? And the 75, that is the minimum height, okay? From the sea level, okay? So where is that 75? It's this, there. It's this level, there. This level, that's 75, okay? All right, let me do it clearly. All right, from the vertex V down to the sea level, that's 75, okay? All right, and that is actually from here. That is from here up to the sea level there. Okay, that's the 75. Okay, all right. Now we're actually looking for the minimum height and the maximum height. What is the maximum? What is the maximum and minimum height of the bridge measured from sea level as modeled by the equation? So if you replace the x with half of 1 to 80, that's 640 there. And so you will have something like y is equal to 0.00037109375. You replace x with 640, that will be 640 minus 640 squared plus 75. That will compute to 640 minus 640 is 0. So you're going to have y is equal to 0 plus 75. And you have the minimum, okay? So y is equal to 75 meters there. That's the minimum. Okay. Now, however, if you measure here, okay, if you measure here, your x there is 0, okay? Your x there is 0. So going back to the equation, replace the x with 0. So you're going to have y, okay, is equal to 0.00037109375. You replace x with 0 minus 640 squared plus 75. You will encounter 640 squared times the number 0.0037 plus 75. You'll be able to compute 227 meters there. And that gives you the maximum there. Okay? So replace the x with 0, you'll be measuring from here. Okay? And that's the distance from the reference. So if that's 0, you'll get the measure of the support. Okay? That's the maximum height from here up to the sea level there. Okay? And so the answers are 75 meters and 227 meters. Okay? Just use your calculator there. So we have the maximum at 227 and minimum at 75 meters. You can see that over here. Let me lower this part. There, okay? So you can see the answer over here. That's a maximum of 227 meters and a minimum of 75 meters, okay? So let me just write what I have erased. This is 0, 0, 0, 0, 37109,375. Okay, there. All right. So the answer is there. Okay. All right. The maximum is 227. That's the height of the support. Okay. Up to the sea level. All right. That's it for number 11. Let's continue with number 12. Here's number 12. A paratrooper jumps from an airplane at an altitude of 4,700 feet. Okay. That should be the initial height. Okay, we're back to motion problem. The initial height is 4,700 feet. All right. He falls under the force of gravity. All right. That will be velocity at 0. It's free fall. Okay. So it's feet per second. All right, there. He falls under the force of gravity until he opens his parachute at an altitude of 1,500. So that's H there. Approximately how long does the paratrooper fall before he opens his parachute. All right. Now, the acceleration here is, of course, negative 16. Okay. So the acceleration here is negative 16. So we're back to h a t squared plus b times t plus h of 0. Okay. Still have to use this. And so we have h is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 0 velocity times time plus 4,700 feet. Now, we also know the height, okay? The height is 1,500. So this is 1,500 negative 16 t squared plus 4,700. Okay, subtracting 4,700 from both sides, we will have to subtract 4,700, subtract 4,700. The left side will be negative 3,200, and this will zero out, and you have negative 16 t squared. And so we will divide by the negative 16. We will have a positive t squared here, okay? Positive time. So divide by negative 16, divide by negative 16. We have t squared is equal to, how much is that? 3,200 divided by 16, that looks like 2, 32, then 2 zeros. Okay, that makes 200, okay? There. So we have t squared is equal to 200. So we shall apply square root. Square root of t squared, square root of 200, we have plus or minus, and t is equal to 14.142136562. Okay, that's the square root of 200. Okay, all right. So our time is 14.14 seconds. Okay, or 14.1 seconds. So time is equal to 14.1 seconds. That's the answer. Okay, all right. Approximately how long does the paratrooper fall before he opens his parachute? All right, so that's the answer. Let's verify. It's over here. There, that's 14.1 seconds. Okay, I hope you were able to learn from our examples, and hopefully you can use this in your quadratic equations applications. All right, and we will be discussing more later. So see you later, and goodbye for now.